Jæja, góðan dag. Velkomin á Málstofu Hafrannsóknastofnunar. Við erum núna að hefja haustmisserið og sá sem ríður á vaðið hér er okkar Einar Pétur Jónsson. Þetta er svolítið óvenjulegur fyrirlestur en ég bað bara sérstaklega að fá byrja þetta haustmissir á svona smá ferðasögu. En það vill svo til að Einar Pétur, hann fór í leiðangur núna í ágúst á vegum Norsku heimskautastofnunarinnar frá Svalbarða norður í Nansen-djúpið. Og Einar ætlar að bara vera með smá ferðasögu og vídeo hérna frá leiðangrinum. Einar Pétur er, ef þið vissu það ekki nú þegar, doktorsnemi hérna á Hafrannsóknastofnun og Háskóla Íslands og hann notar tilraunir til að rannsaka fjölþætt áhrif umhverfis sjávarlífvera og þannig að við munum örugglega að fá að heyra í honum aftur fljótlega þegar rannsóknirnar komast á skrið. En Einar, gjörðu svo vel.
Já, takk fyrir það. Takk fyrir kynninguna. Takk, hæ. Ég sem sagt er að fara að tala á ensku, en alla spurningar á íslensku eru velþegnar. Allt er góð. So this is going to be in English. So I'm a PhD student studying marine multiple stressors, so that's basically doing experiments in my case. And then I got this mail, both from Chris here at Hafró and my old supervisor Steve, which was like, there's this very cool cruise, you should apply if you want to go. This cruise is organized by the Norwegian Polar Institute, and it's for students and early career scientists from Arctic countries, basically. That sounded very nice. So the aim of the cruise is it's just like a research cruise doing multiple measurements in this area, which is in the Nansen Basin, and would cruise from Svalbarda. So you see Svalbarda there and Greenland, and this is like the end of the Nansen Basin closest to Svalbarda. This is interesting. So if you locate Greenland and then just up from Greenland, you see Svalbarda there, and the Nansen Basin is there in between them. So you can see like there's quite a gradient in depth in it. So the transects were going across very different depths. So that's very interesting. So I applied, and that's through Rannis, who then selected with the Norwegian Polar Institute who was going. And then it was interesting, at the moment that I received the mail that I was accepted, a photo was taken. I was very, very happy and jumped a lot until I noticed I was in an office space, and I went outside. Now this is kind of like this cruise is kind of like make connections, learn new sampling, learn more about the Arctic, blah, blah, blah stuff. Very interesting. But I wanted to find a collaborator, so I found one, which was Sara Harðardóttir here at the Institute. And I'm going to tell you about sort of the research that we put into the cruise. So we could like bring our own additional research into it, which was very nice. So I went to Longyearbyen. There's a lot of skidoos there. And it was really nice. I want to mention they did survival suit training before we went on the ship. This is the ship. It's very nice, Kronprins Haakon. It's from Tromsø, and it's I slept at the far forward there, which is interesting when you're breaking sea ice. Then we cruised out. The landscape in Svalbard is very dramatic. That was nice, and this is the group on the helicopter deck. I like the art that they have, the polar bear. So these are students from many different countries and nations within those countries around the Arctic. So interesting, like all the way from the Aleutian Islands. I had never met people from there. Very interesting. This is Mattias Uusinoka, my roommate, Finnish. Instant click between us, Icelanders and Finns, very classic. And this is me with a very expensive camera that I got from Hafró, the Marine and Freshwater Research Institute, on which I took no good photo. So, all the nice photos that I'm showing you here are from Jessica Cook, she's a photographer, and she took nice photos. And from Mario Accorone and Sean Mack, they took nice photos. So, thanks. Here's a nice photo, it's a fulmar. And we were very used to this, right, following us on the ships. So it was very interesting to see it there and following us quite far north. People were laughing at me on the second week because I was still saying, oh my God, I can't believe that the ship is not moving. I'm so used to it moving so much here in Iceland, but it was very nice. We were very lucky. There were some pastimes like knitting. There was the game Werewolf? Yeah, we changed it into polar bear. So the hunter is the polar bear guard, and it was more fun than this photo looks like. There was a helicopter hangar. It was just used a lot for ping pong and raves, and it was sometimes very intense. Then I said, this is a horrible idea, and then I hurt my shoulder. But incidentally, this is the lab I was working in. So what was I doing? So I was collecting phytoplankton to get into culture and bring them home and do experiments. So basically what we're looking at, we have ice and water. That's a boundary where it's like there's a lot of variability there, and there's a lot of change in the environmental parameters there. And in a very short story, what I was doing is collecting phytoplankton samples at the stations we were doing in our transect. And then I was putting them into culture, and then here in Iceland, we are doing, gonna get started with the experiments on these phytoplankton cultures. So I would take water samples. You see in the left corner, that's like the alkalinity sample, because I have to know the carbonate chemistry that is now, to get the pH level that is now, to have like a baseline to do experiments. So to know where to start from, what's the normal level. And we would also measure salinity and temperature, of course. And I would also get water from there, because there is phytoplankton in the water. And I would also, to get more phytoplankton, I would use a net. And there was a lot of help from Cecilie von Kulfeld, which is this lady. And it was very inspiring to meet Cecilia and some other researchers like who are just burning for the ocean, always. They're like, you know, they know so much, and they're still so interested. And like, even though they're like grown up and there's a lot of things in life, and she has led like this incredible life in like these expeditions. It reminded me sometimes of Kalli, because you know, Kalli can go on and on and on about the ocean, and it's really nice for people like us who like to listen to that. So yes, it was very interesting to meet her and work with her. And so we would take these samples, but there would not only be phytoplankton, but also zooplankton, which feed on phytoplankton. This is problematic if I want to bring them home to Iceland in a few weeks. They will have had a feast. And so I filtered these out most of the time. And then I would do this like passive filtering, which was a very slow, boring process where I was concentrating the phytoplankton. So I had to have less water, more phytoplankton. Then we had this culture chamber, homemade culture chamber, which has this lead and in a cooler. And then I traveled with this culture chamber home. Now we did other stuff. We went out on the ice and took ice cores. This was extremely fun. We would drill. That's very fun. And what I personally did, I took the ice that's on the bottom and slowly melted that, and then put that into culture to get the phytoplankton that is in the ice, in the bottom of the ice. All right. Just to go into the other sampling stuff we were doing. So here is a multi-net. This is a zooplankton net that you can deploy, and then you open the different nets at different depths. This is something that Solrún is saying, I know, yes, I have seen this. And anyways, I had never seen it done. I thought it was cool, and the almost sunset was also very nice. Out of this came a lot of creatures, and there was just some assessment of those being done, like a quantification. But here Sonja is also, she had a ridiculous amount of sampling. She was sampling for mercury contamination, and she's doing that in her PhD, like all over, especially in the polar oceans. So annoying to sample it. You have to be so clean. And she was sampling there from what are these called on the here, Solrún? Yeah, exactly, Kobe, sorry. From like Callanus, right? Yeah, Callanus, and from different samples, so and water samples as well. So seeing the accumulation of mercury. Cecilia was teaching us also a little bit of phytoplankton identification. That was very interesting, some lab work there, and related to the sort of carbon cycle in the ocean. We're also taking particulated and dissolved carbon measurements. There was a mud collecting device, which Flor was there. She was collecting mud to look into both climate way back in time, but also the species composition way back in time, and correlate that with the climate that was then. This was very muddy. And Kronprins Haakon, she's not much of a trawler, but we did trawl because it's like they don't have a lot of space in the back like Árni. But yes, we had some pelagic trawls, some ice-capable pelagic trawls. I don't know how they change them, but they do. And so you remember I was talking about the slope of the Nansen Basin and then the deep. So on the slope, we would fish quite a lot. There were capelin, there were shrimps. But then you get into the deep, and there's not a lot there. It's like so little there. We would also have them for lunch. It was really nice. It was the first time I tried capelin. So here it's just like it's fried in small, you know what I'm saying. And we also did some bottom trawls, and you have some of you have seen this, like the muddy bottom trawl, and you know the feeling. Yeah, this was very muddy, and like had probably never been trawled before there. As you can see here, there was a lot of svampar, sponges. Wow, nice. And yeah, it was some indications that there had never been trawling there, which makes sense. Yeah, sorry. And yeah, here we are, like trying to sort out one of these bottom trawl stations, and here I am arguing with the scientist leader about that we should subsample this. This is Håkon Hopp. He was great. We also threw some plastic in the ocean. This is Elizabeth Jones and Olarve. Sorry, he just finished as director of the NPI. So he sort of decided what we did there. And they threw this plastic in the ocean. It's called plastic in a bottle. And they've done this in a few locations in the Arctic and subarctic to see the drift. So it's a GPS monitored. And so this was the 7th that's been thrown out. And 2 of those that have been thrown out have been found on the same beach in Scotland by the same lady with the same dog. I have to mention, like, this lady, Elizabeth, she worked a lot in making the 30 by 30 happen. And so I was like, thank you. But she did not take herself seriously. Like she was so interested in everything we were doing, and she was always running laps on the helicopter deck and just like super happy to be there. She was inspiring. We saw some polar bear tracks, and we also saw some polar bears. This was by far the highlight of the trip for me. You can see the mother there and the cub. The mother is the bigger one, and you see her lip. It's a little bit weird. She kind of always had an open mouth. Here she is also. I'm going to show you. So I rushed out, did not have my camera, which wouldn't have mattered because the photos sucked. But I had my phone, so I will show you a video. So she is here. The mother is closer. Not afraid. We're on the ship there. And because I don't have the sound on, you don't hear, but the cub, he's very vocal. So it's normally the other way around. The cub going too close and the mother being like, hey, stop it. But here she is coming very close, and the cub is like, Mom, come on, Mom. So all the time, like, not happy about this.
So it's a teenager.
Yeah. You know the type. Yeah. No, we're very serious scientists. We didn't throw them food. Look at her butt now. Go on, get out of there. Right. That was nice. That was a special moment. I was very happy to see that. Saw some black guillemots, saw some Brunnix guillemots, and our Múkki, Fíll, Fulmar, he followed us super far north. But when we were far north, here were some kittiwakes also in the Teista, right? When we were, Teista? Rita, sorry. When we were very far north, so we went to above 84 degrees north, and when we were far north, we only saw these ice gulls, which are completely white, and they have the scream of the hettumávur, which is, how do you say hettumávur? Hooded seagull. Super annoying scream. But yeah, these were very interesting. They would follow us, and they would be very interested in our, god damn it, our sea ice that we were breaking. Because below so you see on the top of the sea ice, are you kidding me? So, we were breaking a lot of sea ice. The top of the sea ice is rather uniform, but then when it flips, you can see that it's like a very complicated three-dimensional structure to it. And in this structure is quite an ecosystem. So there are, for example, polar cod there, a lot of them. The small ones, they are there, and the big ones are further down. But these small ones, their world would be turned upside down. And the gulls were there for that. And we would see them come swooping in. Here's a bearded seal, I believe. And we also saw a walrus on the ice in the Nansen Basin. So here it is very deep. And this is very interesting because walruses, they're normally eating clams, which are coastal. And they use their big tusks for that, to dig there. But this one was out here, so no clams. So either fish, or what also happens is other seals. So this is a big male that was chilling there. And we also saw some more of them when we were coming back and coming closer to land. And this was by a small hvallátur, where they chill on the beach. And here they are coming to the beach, and they've been out maybe for a week fishing, clamming, and they don't hurry to come out. They're like chilling there, coming back, and they come up to the beach often and scratch with her flipper, sort of here, and very evidently, to show the others that they're on land, that they're chilling. They're not coming here to fight. I'm coming here to chill, because then they all huddle together on the beach, right? This was very interesting to see. They were just coming back and forth and, scratching again and again. It was very cool. We, on the way back, we stopped in Ny-Ålesund, which is a very small town in Svalbarða, the town from which the Italia and Norge Zeppelins went for their North Pole expeditions. So Roald Amundsen, he went from there and tied his Zeppelin to that mast. And this is Roald Amundsen, and this is me and Mattias Usinokka. And it was very interesting. They have some research facilities there now. So it's a town that used to be a mining town. That is no more, but it's a research town. And they had very nice laboratories for with aquaculture tanks. So maybe some collaboration there sometime. This is a 50-year-old researcher on the Norwegian Polar Institute doing a backflip into the ocean there. We went swimming there, and then we went into the sauna, of course, on the ship. What's next? Yes. So we obviously went crazy on the boat and found a need to establish a boy band, which we did, and then you have to kind of go for the photo shoot also, which we did. This is in the sauna. So it's me, Vegard, Jacob, and Mattias. Me and Jacob are the lyricists and singers, and Vegard plays the ukulele, and Mattias is the brains and the guitar. Yes. And we did some photo shooting, and then a performance, and I'm kind of happy that the sound didn't work here, but it was very well taken. Yes. All right, I came back home, science, and
This is why you asked me how to mute the...
Exactly. So I came home. I put my samples in the nullið, in the 0 degrees. Had the light on them, and then when they had sort of calmed down after the flying, which is, it can be very difficult for the phytoplankton. Me and Sarah, we started looking at them, and we take up the bottles, and Sarah says, "Oh my God, Einar, they're all dead. They're hot." That was a bummer. So the LED light in the cooler had heated, not on the boat, but only here in Hafró. But do you know what? Only just before we started looking at them, because then we looked at them and they were alive. And now they are in nullið. We have established, or Sarah, I'm not doing any of this. So Sarah has taken some of them that we're interested in and started a culture with them. So this was an emotional roller coaster that Friday when I came home. But they are okay. The work is not for nothing. Yes. So I will leave you with just a drone video and say thank you.
Takk Einar. Snilt.
Yeah.
Robert. We have time for questions. Before questions, I just want to point out, luckily for us, Sarah is our next speaker.
Perfect.
In 2 weeks' time. So come back to hear about that. Do you have any questions?
Before you do, I want to point out, like you see in this video, these ice ridges, which is where the ice has sort of collided. This is very interesting. It maybe comes up 2-3 meters on the surface, but underneath it can go down like 20 meters. And here you can see it. This is a very good example. And there it's like a very complicated structure that then hosts an ecosystem that is adapted to that. Now you can ask. Yeah.
No questions?
No.
How long was this survey?
This was for 3 weeks, and we had initially planned 3 transects that ended up being 2 and like a little bit of the other.
Yeah.
Not enough to go like completely crazy. Andreas?
At what time of the year?
Yeah.
Sorry, just the dates in this year, or?
Yeah, it was now in August that we were doing this. So it's very interesting. So if you remember, if you picture Svalbard, on the west side of Svalbard there's a sort of a remnant of the Gulf Stream that comes up there, and that creates sort of an opening in the ice that leads higher up to the west of Svalbard than in the east. So you can sort of shoot up from there, like without having to break so much ice. But they tried to do this in June or July, and they couldn't get there. It was too much ice. So we sort of now we're going when there's the least ice, like just in the end of summer, and we got to these locations of interest in the Nansen Basin. I also forgot to mention, because we have some capelin people here. We found capelin very far north in the Nansen Basin's slopes, as you saw. We also found like cod under it, which is very cool, and it's apparently not often been found there, like these masses of capelin with cod underneath them. Yeah. Thank you for looking at my pictures. Sorry.
No more questions. I want to second what you said about Cecilia and Kalli. These are gems to listen to. They can talk for hours and they are passionate. I'm just going to look very forward to when you are going to be 60 and experienced researcher, and then I'll phone you up.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your talk.
Thank you. Thanks.